Okay. Hey, Bunny says, am I right back? I just wanted to get a drink of water. And we're back in the tavern. And Lucette is here. And she's thinking, or she's going to say something, and she doesn't. Oh, okay. Anise is there. Princess, are you okay? Oh, I guess she just lost in thought, Lucette. Oh, Karma. Excuse me. Karma. Oh, if it isn't the princess. Are those dark circles on your eyes from a romantic night out? You were out with someone last night? That was Anise. No, they are from being woken up early by Delora to do chores. Delora grins at me from the other side of the bar, but says nothing as she goes back to a conversation with another boarder. Karma. Darling, you were no fun at all. You must tell me what happened last night. Last night? Did you like the bouquet? How did you know about the bouquet? Why, because it was my suggestion. When Chevalier was asking Karma for advice, that's right, before. It was about me? Oh, that's right, I remember that. They were getting along for once, and they were speaking about something. Look at the way she smiled, Anise. Last night must have gone well. I'm confused. What happened last night? I'm going to get Rumpel to give all of the juicy details when he comes downstairs. Well, there he is. There's Chevalier to you. Chevalier appears behind Karma, smiling. He seems a lot calmer today than usual. He glances over at Karma at me, and we catch each other in a silent gaze. Seeing his eyes reminds me of last night, which makes me inadvertently flush. Chevalier just winks at me. Chevalier, what is that? Something you say when a person sneezes? No, that's his name. Rumpel, that is. Chevalier broke his curse yesterday. There is stunned silence from everyone in the immediate area. Even Delora walks over to us. There's Delora. What's this about a broken curse? Was it you, Rumpel? He's going by something that sounds like a fancy cake. Parfait seems to be bursting with excitement. Though she is her usual calm self on the outside, I can tell by the bounce in her step, and by the way she raises her voice to make an announcement that she is proud. When everyone has learned that Chevalier has broken his curse, people come to the table offering drinks and congratulations. Chevalier gets lost in the crowd, mostly of women. But much to my surprise, Chevalier does not flirt back with any of them. And then, in between our celebrations for Chevalier, the front door to the Marchen opens, and Waltz rushes inside. Is Waltz. Where are Delora and Lady Parfait? I need to speak with them immediately. No, something's wrong. Chevalier. Waltz, you're just in time. We are all... Something has happened at the palace. The room goes quiet at Waltz's proclamation. A few people shift uneasily in their chairs. Some try to go back to conversation. Most people do not care what happens in the palace, but they can tell by the tone of Waltz's voice that it is bad. Lucette. What happened at the palace? An uprising. Oh, well. What? A coup, staged by witches. Witches have taken over the palace. The information is so sudden it makes me dizzy. I reach out to grab the table, and my hand lands on the wood before I can slip. Chevalier. Witches have taken over the palace? An army of them? No, only a few. Jurian strides across the room, followed quickly by Gollin. Gollin. What's this about witches taking over? We have some of the best knights at the palace. There's no way, Jurian. There is no way witches could break in under the palace's guard. I bet if you remember. I think it was Alcast who was slowly getting rid of them. He was getting rid of a lot of them. Dishonorably discharging them. Waltz. Unless they had someone inside helping them. Jurian. Alcaster? No. Myth. Who are we talking about? You know him as Mithros. He uses a different name now. Those Waltz. Sir Mithros? The king's advisor? Wait, I thought he was a good guy. He's a witch? There is no way Mithros is a witch. We would have known. Those Gollin speaking. Waltz. Glamour. He used the glamour. Everything Waltz says suddenly gets swallowed up in questions. Jurian and Gollin ask question after question while others start surrounding Waltz to ask him what has happened to the king and his children. I try to step closer to listen, but I cannot hear over the frantic voices in the room. Sir Mithros. I never trusted him, but I never thought he would be a witch. The room only quiets down when Delora and Parfait come to punctuate the conversation with their own demands for everyone to give Waltz space. Okay, we are in the common room, or the reception room. The Marshine boarders are all taken into the reception room, where Waltz stands at attention, waiting to answer questions. He explains that he was looking into a rumor about Sir Mithros from only a few days ago, when he found out about the witches' uprising. Waltz. It was a surprise attack orchestrated by Mithros, who let the witches in through a secret entrance to the palace. Alcaster was killed during the uprising. Many knights were injured, and are currently being tended to in clinics and hospitals around the town. What? Alcaster's dead? Wow, how different. Okay. After his explanation, I feel even worse than I did in the main room. I stare at Waltz, at a loss. What of Fritz? Fritz? Sir Alcaster's son. That's Lucette. Fitzgerald. He was my personal knight. If Sir Alcaster was killed during the uprising, where did that put Fritz? Was he working with Sir Alcaster, or with Sir Mithros? Did he escape? I'm sorry, Princess. I haven't heard anything about a knight named Fitzgerald. Was he killed? The thought makes my heart plummet. No, Fritz could not possibly be dead. I have to believe that he's still alive. I feel Chevalier's hand on my shoulder briefly before it slides off. Are any of the king's knights remaining in the palace? That's him. Waltz. If they are, then they've either been forced to turn against the king, or they've been killed. Delora. Is Mithros sitting on the throne? Waltz. No, he usurped the king, but he hasn't taken his throne. Well, if there's a group of witches taking over, they don't really care. They don't even really need the throne. They just took over the palace, and they could rule from there. So, Waltz turns to me, and his expression softens. Princess, feel free to ask me whatever you want. I'm sorry I didn't answer all of your questions earlier. Oh God, okay, I have all these questions I can answer. I have so many questions, but I suppose I will ask them one at a time. Okay, from previous experience, hopefully, we get a chance to answer these questions one at a time. So, all of them. Okay, what has happened to the king and the others? What is the glamour that Sir Mithros used? Do you know Mithros? Who has claimed the crown? Let's ask that first. That's the very first thing I want to know. See if anybody has done this. As of right now, no one. This is Waltz answering all the questions now. So, the king's been kicked off the throne, and Mithros has made a public announcement about usurping the throne, but he does not call himself king. Is he trying to win the throne over for someone? Myth has no one left. He was obsessed with our teacher, but she is gone. Maybe he has different alliances now. Parfait's eyes look distant as she stares dismally down at the ground. What? Oh, maybe it was Parfait that he liked. Okay. Maybe she was the teacher. Okay. What has happened to the king and the others? Yeah, let's immediately know that. I'm not sure. From what I've heard, the king and his family, your family, are still alive. Okay, presumably I'm assuming they're thrown in prison. I have never cared for any of my step-family, but hearing that they are okay, is still a relief. Mithros may be keeping them prisoner for now. Okay, let's ask about Mithros first. We could worry about the glamour later. Do you know Mithros? It was a long time ago. We both shared the same teacher. Oh. Teacher? Wait. Waltz, are you a witch? Yeah. He smiles at me, but it is weak and does not reach his eyes. Myth was always very competitive. I thought that he had died at the end of the Great War, but he's been in the palace this whole time. His disguise is so simple. I should have realized his name was so similar, but I was going to say, he didn't realize, he just went from Myth to Mithros. Come on. You couldn't, Delora, you couldn't have helped it. That's what the glamour does to you. Yeah, that's right. The glamour is a trick to trick people into disguising yourself. Maybe if I wasn't cursed, if I had more of my magic, I would have been able to sense him. Okay, now let's discuss the glamour. Delora steps in to answer the question. A glamour is a high-level magic used to conceal one's identity. It keeps even other witches from sensing you. Parfait cast the same magic on you shortly after you came to the tavern. It was to protect you from evil witches. A glamour could only be conjured by the powerful witches. It sounds as if this witch has been using glamour to hide himself from others. Waltz, if my curse were broken, I would charge in right now and destroy him. Waltz's expression becomes so dark it sends a shiver through me. It isn't like Waltz to look so angry. Yeah, that sounded very angry to me. Lucette, we need to come up with a plan. Even if you weren't cursed, you would still not be able to defeat Mithros when he has other witches with him. That's true as well. Delora, witches are trickier to handle. was Karma. Can't just be plunged through with a sword, huh? Jurian, I agree with Karma. If all of us go in with swords and shields, we should be able to take the palace back. Gollin, this is what we've been practicing for. Practicing? Even witches will die if you stick a sword through their heart, won't they? There was Karma. Jurian, but getting to a witch who knows that you're there is difficult. I must do something. Okay, we have a choice. I want to help, or is there anything I can do to help? She wants to help. Of course she wants to help, so I want to help. Chevalier wraps his fingers around my wrist and frowns. Princess, this whole time I have been living at the Marchen. I was spared the fate of the royal family by sheer coincidence because I was cursed. I cannot just sit here and do nothing while the kingdom falls to a witch. It fell to witches before, and there were dire consequences. I cannot continue to be passive. I will not let myself be like Mother. Princess, I am Lucette Riella-Breton, the Crown Princess of Engel, and I will not stand by and watch when the kingdom is in turmoil. She has a point. She is the princess. The room goes quiet at my statements. Chevalier's fingers loosen on my hand. I can see a ghost of a smile on his face, though it underlies his sorrow. Oh, God. Spoken like a true princess. I really hope that purple means I made the right choice again. Whether or not you want to help, Princess, you really can't. You won't be able to use magic until your 18th birthday. That's when you become the bearer. I cannot let that stop me. I will find a way. You know, I wonder when her 18th birthday is, because maybe if it's only like a month away or something, like they could have waited it or something, Well, it's if Mithros isn't like killing everybody or something, The conversations in the room continue for a long while. At some point it is said that volunteers are needed at the hospitals and clinics for the injured soldiers. Chevalier immediately volunteers. Only afterward does he look at me with regret. Princess, I'm sorry. For what? For putting my job before you. And after all I just said. Well, no, he's doing the right thing, I think. So, he told me he was going to try his best to change. Bria called him selfless. For putting his work before her, but you would be a fool not to. My life is not in any danger. There are people who need you more than I do. Do what you do best, Chevalier. Princess Lucette, I promise you, I will do whatever I can to help you as well. As the meeting disbands, I am left standing there in quiet. The last to leave is Waltz, who promises me that he will make things right. I am going to trust everyone, but I am also not going to stand idle. I will make things right somehow. As is my responsibility as Crown Princess. Well, Chapter 9, The Witch Puppet. Chevalier, We're out in the plaza, by the way, the town plaza. Hold on, let me have a sip of water here. Thank you for waiting. Chevalier. Ah, another long night. Lucette. The two of us are on our way back to the Marchen after visiting a clinic in town. We were there for hours, and it is a relief to be out in the open now, where I could feel the wind on my skin. Are you okay, Princess? I know that what you saw must have been difficult. I'm sorry I couldn't shield you from the majority of it. I volunteered to help Chevalier at the clinic part-time, but it was worse than I had expected. Many of the soldiers have severe wounds. I had thought that most of the injuries sustained by the knights during the upheaval were only minor. But I was wrong. Their injuries are much worse. Princess? He reaches out and laces his fingers through mine, then gives me a soft smile as he squeezes my hand. Are you okay? I'm fine. It has only been one day since the uprising at the palace. I had thought there would be less blood, but I was wrong. Is this what things were like after the Great War? I wasn't a fully certified doctor after the Great War, but I was an assistant. It was far worse than this, Princess. We cannot have a repeat of the Great War. I do not know why Mithros would kill Sir Alcaster and take the throne without claiming the crown, but the witches already have a bad name, and he is making it worse. I could not help but remember the wide smiles Mithros gave me when I was still living in the palace. Every time I felt his eyes at me, I felt there was something strange about him. Oh God, that's right. Was Mithros the guy that was staring at the picture of the mother? Oh, and he was talking to the picture too. The portrait. Was that him? Was that the one? See the? Oh wow. That gets. Oh wow. That makes a whole. That brings a whole new meaning to. Because what if her mother isn't dead? What if he's talking to? What if she's speaks to him through the portrait? Okay, Lucette. There was always a cloudiness to his eyes, something unreadable. He was excellent at his job, but always an enigma outside of it. A sudden breeze chills my skin. Chevalier, let's go back before you freeze out here. The two of us begin our walk back to the Marchen. Thoughts of the palace, the king, and my stepfamily cloud my mind. Since I have been staying at the Marchen, I have not seen Rod once. I was never sure if it was because he was ignoring me, or if it was because he only wanted to speak to Parfait. Regardless, I hope Rod and his family are okay. I would never wish this treatment upon anyone, not even to the ones I hated. As we walk, I glance up at Chevalier, whose head is tilted skyward. I catch the glimmer of lights in his eyes and smile. Even for just a moment, I can forget about everything when I am beside him. He has a way of taking the weight off my shoulders. But as the crown princess, I cannot let others carry my burden for me. I must find ways to protect the others. even if it means putting myself in danger or harming someone in order to protect someone else. What do you think is the easiest and fastest way to kill someone? No, well, those are... Chevalier looks surprised, very surprised. Chevalier's body goes rigid beside me. He stops to stare at me, wide-eyed. I am asking just in case I'm ever in danger. I have never fought anyone before. I can retaliate, but I do not know how to actually harm anyone. Chevalier. To kill someone is to end a life. It is stealing away a life that others might love. You bear the burden of that death for the rest of your life. I pull myself away from him. But Mithros is not an innocent man. Would you rather he kill the royal family instead? No, it's not that, princess. I know he must be stopped at any cost. It's just... would never want you to have to kill someone. How would you know what it was like to kill someone? You've only ever helped people, not hurt them. You saw the soldiers in the clinic today. You saw how close some of them were to death. Did you see the hollow look in their eyes? I have seen that look many times. There's a look of a man who clings desperately to life. Every life is precious. And life is still a life, whether it's vile or not. It is still a responsibility you have to bear. I know how valuable and fragile lives are because I have helped so many people. That's an interesting point. If you kill someone, it's like, say if they're evil, you have a responsibility for that. Somehow, society does. And if you're just killing them just to get rid of them, just to, that's you just trying to just get rid of your problem quickly. But, well, then again, you don't want to let like Mithros run around killing everybody either, so what about those people? So, that's an interesting debate there. We stand quiet for a few moments, facing each other. I know I am at odds with Chevalier. He speaks the truth. But I also know that I speak my own version of the truth, too. Exactly. Hold on a second. Oh, I missed this. I know how valuable and fragile lives are because I have helped so many people. No, I didn't miss that. Okay. Okay. Yep, it was a flashback to Bria. The world is a place where only the strong survive. People are kind, but they will take advantage of those who are too caring. Lucette. Bria told me that Chevalier was so selfless that he became selfish. She told me that he never had anything because he gave everything to others. His kindness has hurt others. I fear that it has a likely chance to hurt him as well. What if his reluctance to hurt anyone causes him to be the one that is injured? Yeah, that's exactly right, too. Chevalier suddenly breaks the silence. Most people think that the easiest way to kill a person is to stab them through the heart. Those people would be wrong. He puts his hand over his heart and stares dismally down at the ground. He removes his hand briefly, but only to reach for mine. There's a very nice picture of Chevalier. He takes my hand and settles it on his chest, slightly to the left. I can hear the beating of his heart beneath my palm. It is soft and gentle. What can you feel besides the beating of my heart? Lucette. The ribs? Yes. In order to stab the heart, you'd have to get through the ribs. That's why most of the soldiers in there who got stabbed in the chest are still alive. If you want to quickly kill someone, you have to stab somewhere where it would be difficult to stem the blood from a wound. Do you have any idea where that might be? Oh God, we have a choice. What a gruesome choice. You have a choice of the abdomen or the neck. I would imagine it's the neck. I mean, okay, let's go for the neck. The skin on the neck is thinner. You have lots of blood flow underneath the skin, going right to your head. That's Lucette speaking. It would most likely be easier to slice or pierce something more vulnerable in the neck without running into as much resistance. Chevalier raises an eyebrow. Do you happen to pick that up around the clinic? No, I simply guessed. Then you have a bright mind, Princess. Chevalier moves my hand to the side of his neck. His fingers curl slightly when I feel his heartbeat reverberate beneath my fingers. This part is where you can find the jugular vein and carotid artery. He runs my fingers down the length of it, and I shudder. A mischievous smile brightens his face. Not only does cutting at the neck stop blood from going to the head, but it also makes it spurt. If both the vein and the artery are cut, it only takes a minute to bleed to death. This is a very gruesome conversation. Thus, one of the best ways to kill a person would be through the neck. And that's why millions of soldiers have a huge neck brace around there. At least knights do. Would put that big neck brace around. Big metal pieces around the neck to protect them. So, okay, Lucette, why are you telling me all this now? I was just enlightening a new pupil with an anatomy lesson. You asked me a question, and I responded as a teacher. Chevalier's fingers loosen on my hand, and I grasp his hand tighter in response. Princess, I don't want you to have to bear the burden of a murder. I promise that I'll protect you, so you don't have to defend yourself with violence. I can't use a sword or magic, and I don't know how to fight, but I will always be there to protect you. I may not have an abundance of muscles beneath these sleeves, but I am a doctor. No one knows the body better than I. So though I may not be heroic, I know how to hurt a person. His sincere expression, though pained, tells me that he is telling the truth. I do not want Chevalier to hurt a person either. It would destroy everything that he has worked toward as a doctor. He has seen so much suffering, and yet always seems untouched by it. I will do anything I can to protect his positivity. Okay. We're in Lucette's bedroom, and we're getting on very long here. It's going on past the 30 minutes. So let's stop here, And stop the file here, and we'll continue on next time. Looks like we're heading towards the end, so possibly the end, or some kind of attack on the palace anyway. So I would just want to say thank you for listening, and please like and subscribe and all those nice things. And I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope my reading is getting better. I do believe my voice is getting a little bit better, but I can also tell when it's beginning to dry out and starting to go. So hopefully, as my voice strengthens, it gets a little bit better. So now we'll have nicer readings, and hopefully we'll have, I might, hot as it may be during the summertime, I might end up closing the windows, because this sounds pretty nice. I mean, this is pretty quiet, and there's very little hum. I don't have the fan on or anything, so things are nice and quiet. So maybe I'll do that just for the 1 hour, unless it's unbearably hot. So maybe I'll just start closing the windows, because I think I'm getting a better sound quality out of this. So anyway, again, thank you, and let me say goodbye, and I hope you're safe. And wherever you are, if it's warm, if it's evening or day, I hope things are good for you. So, okay, thank you. Thank you again. And I'll see you soon.